Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chair and today we will be recapping the album Stormfront by Billy Joel. As always, I ask if you're enjoying the content you're watching, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It means a whole lot to us here at the channel. And in this series, as usual, we rank the album in 3 categories: the context behind the creation of the album, the songs on the album itself, and finally the album cover. To start off, we find a frustrated Billy Joel, unhappy with the rushed production and poor reception from his last album, The Bridge. Joel may have felt a bit lost on what's next and what to do in his legendary career. In my opinion, as you looked at the last episode, I said that he pretty much sold out as we got into the 80s. What could make Joel feel better? What should he do to maybe turn around this downward momentum? Well, could it possibly be destroy an entire stage in Russia during a concert? Yes, we finally reached the time I've hinted at a few times before, where Billy Joel, while in Russia on tour, pretty much just has an absolute meltdown on the stage. Now, I think this event is pretty interesting because yes, sure, it's cool, this guy's freaking out and destroying instruments, but the context behind it is a lot more than what it just seems. So at this time, Russia was still actually in the Cold War with America, and so the tensions were still there. And especially for an American artist to go over there and perform, it was very rare for that to happen. The citizens were under intense pressure and scrutiny from the government and what may happen to them if they step out of line. So during the concert, the venue would keep flashing lights on the fans, and this would actually scare them because they thought it was the police or something or someone trying to get them. Joel noticed this and was extremely frustrated because his music was made for people to have fun, enjoy, and get away from the political atmosphere. This revolutionary music moment was kind of a cultural nail in the coffin for the USSR as they were kind of falling already into the 80s, and it would eventually lead to the fall of the Soviet Union and Ronald Reagan calling Gorbachev to tear down this wall. Now, I don't solely give that to Billy Joel, but it is actually a pretty significant cultural moment during that kind of last leg of the USSR, so I think it is pretty interesting and pretty important to point out as well. Anyways, Joel doesn't do too much else during this time period besides changing the band and production style as he goes into his 11th album. He actually steps away from his long-tenured legendary producer Phil Ramone, who's been working with him since The Stranger. Ramone was replaced by Mick Jones and actually Joel himself, who stepped into the producer role for this next album. Other long-tenured departures from the Joel band was Russell Javers and Doug Stegmeyer, 2 musicians who have been in Joel's band since Turnstiles, even before Phil Ramone, so over a decade of their partnership ending, as they were replaced by Joey Hunting and Schuler Deal for this next album. No big message or goal is really made with this upcoming album, but with this new production changes and musician changes, it does change the sound a little bit, and honestly a little bit for the better as we left The Bridge and move on to this new album, Stormfront. But there really isn't too much else background information that you need to know about this. Stormfront was released on October 17th, 1989, and peaked at the top of the US Billboard charts. The last time Joel did that was in 1980, so very big accomplishment for Joel there. Joel was also nominated for a few Grammys as well, which he hadn't seen in his last album. He got 3 nominations for the song We Didn't Start the Fire, which we will talk about later, and 2 nominations for the album itself. One of them was for Producer of the Year, so that was the first time Joel's ever been nominated for that. Joel did not win any Grammys that he was nominated for this past year, but still a lot better improvement than his last musical venture. Because of all this and the change and growth that Joel noticed and wanted to do better for, and that cool cultural moment I talked about, I'm going to give Context a 3 out of 5 on this one. It's nothing super engaging or super cool, but it's decent. I mean, I think there's a little bit of growth, especially from The Bridge, now currently my least favorite album in our series so far, so I am going to give him credit for that. But how about the songs themselves? Well, the album kicks off with another great rocker, as Joel is pretty good at doing, with That's Not Her Style. A little more country sounding with this one, with some harmonica on there, but it is fun and I do enjoy it. And then following up, we get the big hit that everyone knows, We Didn't Start the Fire. A crazy tongue-twisting tale as Joel recounts crazy moments in the last 40 years of world history. And he explains that maybe, you can't blame anyone in specific other than humans themselves for all the weird things that have led to where we are in 1989 at this current time. I think with updated lyrics, the message from this song could still probably relate to us today in 2026. It's only gotten weirder and crazier since then. Downeaster Alexa is the next track, where it's about a fisherman talking about a storm. A similar message is shown in the next track, I Go to Extremes, where Joel recalls the storm inside himself and proudly admits that he's a dramatic man himself. Side 1 ends with the song Shameless, which apparently Joel said was inspired by Jimi Hendrix, which makes a lot of sense. If you strip away all the cool and great things about Jimi Hendrix, then you would get this song. Garth Brooks apparently covered this a few years later and did very successful with it, so I guess kudos to that. Side 2 starts off with the title track, which is a fun rocking song which, shocking, is about storms. I will say though, using the word cumulonimbus in a music verse is fucking talent, and for that I praise it. We then get Leningrad, which is a slower track about a Russian clown. We then get a normal rock song with State of Grace and a jazzier number with When in Rome. It kind of sounds like it would be in the animated Hercules movie to me. The album ends with And So It Goes, a very popular track that many people like, but I would say do a little more digging and it's not really my favorite track. If you read the Wikipedia about this song is apparently inspired by Joel's relationship with a 19-year-old girl when he was 34. Before he married his second wife. It's a lot slower and sappier and kind of ends on a dire note, but maybe it's the passing of the storm as we reach the end of the album. I don't know, I feel like I'm giving it a little bit more credit than it deserves, but anyway, that is the full 10 tracks. Now out of those 10 tracks, I actually like 5 of the songs on here. 2 of them are newly added in this most previous listen when writing the script. Those 2 being the opener, which I thought was actually pretty catchy, and When in Rome. I know it's a little cheesy and goofy, but it's the 80s and honestly, I am a fool for that sometimes. I think We Didn't Start the Fire can be a bit annoying, but it's still one of my liked songs because if you're in the right mood for it, it is a pretty nice track. I always also like the title track as well, and then my favorite track on here is I Go to Extremes. The piano solo on it is absolutely amazing, and I love the raucous energy it has, which is just so much fun and way so far stranded away than the bridge with its calm, sulky, and quiet sound. This is a lot more energetic of an album, and you can hear that in a lot of the tracks here. The other 5 are, you know, mediocre 80s pop songs, nothing I really care for, but not necessarily terrible. I would say Shameless is probably my least favorite track. It's just not memorable to me in any which way. This ratio gives the song category a score of a 2.5 out of 5. And finally now we have the album cover, and it's the red one. See how the last one was a blue one? This is a red one. It's supposed to also represent a storm flag, but really there's no creativity or inspiration really here. I feel like this is the matrix of Billy Joel albums, and I would pick neither of the pills if I had to choose. Because of that, just like the last one, I'm going to give a score of a 1 out of 5 for this album cover. That gives Stormfront a final score of a 6.5 out of 15, a very mediocre score for what I truly kind of feel like is a mediocre album. This is nowhere near his greater stuff, and when you look at the overall, you know, scores of his discography we have, it is still on the lower half. It's a little bit higher than the Blue Pill, but it's still closely tied to that kind of same sound and production that I'm just not truly a huge fan of. This album also surrounds itself with other good albums like ABBA, the album, and Barbra Streisand's People, which also has a song about doing what the Romans do. I would check out that song and the video as well that I covered months ago. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally pretty much made it towards the end of our Billy Joel journey, as in our next episode we will finish his discography with Joel's 12th and final studio album, River of Dreams. Will it end it on a high note? We shall see. But if you want to keep staying tuned to the end of this series, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It has really meant a lot to get through this series. I praise all those who have gotten through the whole series. I might even put all 12 videos together and make like kind of a compilation so you can just kind of watch it all in one big run. I don't know, we'll see about that. But anyway, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been so much fun to learn more about Billy Joel. Obviously I have his collection, so I still know all of his music, but to dive a little bit deeper and cherish it a little bit more. But I hope to see you guys in the finale of the Billy Joel discography in our series, and I will see you in the next one.